Alright, what is up everybody? I am Jay Dublé. I'm here doing some stream production stuff. Getting started here. I think I'm going to start out by working on some stuff in my... actually, you know what? For the moment, I'm going to leave this backing music on, just bring it down a little bit. Give us something to listen to while I'm working a little. Here in a bit, we'll need to kick that back off because I'll need to listen to music and see what's going on. But for now, let's get that going so we got that in the background. All right, let me kick over to our Reaper desktop capture here. So I think what I'm planning on doing is I need to go through and tighten up the camera changes and a bunch of other stuff for pretty much all of these songs. Also, I'm going to apologize. I know the screen broadcasts are kind of a little bit choppy quality, and I apologize about that. If there's anything that's like a little weird or hard to understand what's going on, just let me know and I'll see if I can figure it out. So if you can see over here on the right hand side, this is my list of songs that we have for this stream. I'm going to go through one by one and work on camera transitions and cleaning up. I need to go through and do mixing stuff too, but I probably do that on a different stream just for quality of life reasons, make my life a little bit easier. So first thing I'm going to do is clean up. I need to go through some of these files. These are like my pre-recorded tracks. I need to come through here and just clean these up a little bit. I only use them for mixing purposes, so they don't really need to be super clean. What is up, Deanie? Dude, it took me like, I've been working on setup since your stream was going on. I thought that it was going to be pretty quick and painless to get this desktop capture and everything set up, but it was a little bit of a pain. It took me a little longer than I wanted it to. Actually, let's keep that cut. It's also a little bit warm in here, although I'm still wearing a jacket because I'm a dummy. Alright, so let's clean that up. I also am going to move this temporarily down to Jared's channel, I think. I'm going to cut that as well. Okay, what else do we got here? Let's clean this up. Yeah, I'll kind of show you if you're still here, Deanie. I've got this system built so like I can switch around all my set stuff in vMix. So I can like cut to my webcam, go to webcam over vMix, webcam over Reaper, webcam with vMix with Reaper laid over. The opposite of that, so if I'm working in Reaper making changes in vMix, and I've got like this is my virtual Windows machine that's hosting all of my plugins, the OBS capture, which of course goes off into infinity, and then like a final output capture that I can also like overlay my webcam on for when I'm testing final camera changes. So we kind of got it all. After 2 hours of writing keyboard shortcuts, I can finally get around everything. All right, so I need to add a track for Darth here. Darth. Vocal mixing. I'm also going to go ahead and do some of this type stuff for consistency. I can't wait to have you over here and kind of show you how all this works. Like, essentially I'm using a computer as if it were a ATEM switch is pretty much the way I would describe it. It's actually pretty cool the way it works. I didn't anticipate it all working so well. But this way I can like, because I was kind of like, I didn't know exactly how I was going to do this whole situation of like, I've got 4 different computers here. How do I show all of the different things that are going on all the screens at all times? Kind of a tricky proposition. All right, vocal track is cleaned up. Let's clean up this guitar track a little bit. Okay, I'm locked. The only bummer is I don't have enough hardware connections to actually hook up all of the monitor captures. So if you notice, I'm like my monitor capture quality is a little bit shit, which I'm bummed out about. It would be much better if I could capture that in a little bit higher detail. But you know, it's better than having 6 more capture cards. And yeah, if you want to come and borrow my HD60S, all I need to do... oh yeah, the ATEM. It's kind of difficult to do the picture-in-picture stuff when you're capturing like that and bringing it into a layout the way you are in OBS. We'll figure it out though. I'm pretty sure we'll figure it out. Okay, so I'm going to try and be smart and go through and like lock all this stuff as I'm going so I don't ever accidentally move it around or fuck something up. I've been pretty good about that with these things, but I need to come through and like trim these tracks up. But yeah, anytime you want to come get that HD60S, all I got to do is move one of the my HD60 Pros into the other computer. It should only take a couple minutes. And luckily, I got my second quad capture card today, so I just need to plug that thing in and make sure it's all up and working before I make the switch. That's all cleaned up now. I'm hoping that going through and cleaning up a lot of these audio tracks, even though they're not being used a lot of times, I'm hoping going through and cleaning them up will kind of reduce the amount of processing that is being used by them. Once you have a project that's, you know, 6 hours long, which this one is definitely at least 6 hours long now, I think it's important probably to come clean all this stuff up and keep it all nice and tight. I guess I could probably go in and start grouping these things, but yeah, that's such a bummer that converter didn't work. That really bums me out. Okay, let's do this. I have a feeling that these cymbals, I'm gonna check these cymbal rings real quick. Where do they die off? They die off right about there. So we can cut this back to about here, maybe, just to play it safe. How about this last one? So yeah, to give you an idea here real quick, Deanie, when you're finally able to come over, this is the way everything works. For the like keyboard tracks, rather than have like a dedicated plugin, this is pretty cool. I finally got this up and working. Rather than having like Omnisphere actually hooked up in Reaper, it uses this, here, I'm gonna pull out the smaller version of that, Vienna Ensemble Pro. So it just uses this little connector plugin, and that is connecting over the network to, let's see here, this computer over here, which is like a virtual Windows that's hosted on my brother's Plex server. And so that like actually does all of the keyboard processing and then passes it back, and it's able to do that multi-channel, so it feeds it back to different channels inside of Reaper, so I can do each Omnisphere channel or contact channel separately, like sending them to Reverb buses or anything like that. It's pretty freaking cool. I'm actually kind of amazed that that kind of network processing is possible. Let's go back to Reaper, and I'll try and be good about remembering to pull back into my whatever track I'm working on. I know I'm probably gonna forget. Okay, so this aux vocal track clearly can be carved up a bit. We don't need to have it running through the whole song when it only happens during the choruses. Did you, so was that SDMI converter? Yeah, dude, like the plugin stuff is just freaking awesome. So like when we're jamming, I'll have the drum plugin hosted on a different computer, and the MIDI will, so like you'll play, the MIDI will go from the drum kit to this computer. It'll send the MIDI over the network to process the drums over there, and then bring it back over the network to this computer where we can put the instruments on individual tracks for compression, processing, reverbs, etc. It's gonna be pretty sweet. I'm a little bit concerned about latency, which doing keyboards, the latency is no big deal. You can have a kind of higher latency on keyboards, and it's not really something that bothers you like it would for vocals or drums. If the latency is a little higher on drums, what I might do is have a separate computer that hosts all the drums and just light pipe the channels over to this computer for processing. Yeah, like there's really not, like I can play the drums and the latency doesn't bother me. But then again, I've been playing with latency for years on everything, so I don't know that I'm the most attuned to small latency differences. And with you being like really used to an acoustic kit, you might feel the latency a little bit more than me. So kind of my plan for that, if that's the problem and we get around that, what I'll do is, like I said, I'll have a separate computer and you'll just monitor the drums straight off of that, so there's only one round of latency, and that'll pipe the mix back over to you that you could feed into that computer so you could listen to the mix while having your mix, you know, the most latency free. Because even if like Darth and I were listening to the drums back with like a slightest bit of latency, I really don't think, like when you're not the one playing it, I don't think it really bothers you or you really notice. I could be wrong about that, but I'm fairly sure. Okay, so we're pretty cleaned up. Oh, I missed a spot where I could carve out here on these keys. Overall, it's getting complicated and there's a whole lot of points of failure, so I'm a little bit worried about that. There's a lot that can get wrong, or a lot that can go wrong. I'm gonna be getting, I think I'm gonna set up like a stream deck back at my keyboard rig so that like if camera changes don't work right when we get back to chat, or if OBS fucks up, I have like a manual override button. But there's just become so many things. It's gotten so out of hand. Okay, those are all just MIDI files. I don't think that they really matter if they're open throughout the whole thing. So now it's time to start looking at camera changes. Let's pull up the MIDI files, and it's time to pull up, is it this one? Yeah, we'll bring vMix up here so everyone can see what's going on in vMix. Oh, and what I did this time for vMix, rather than just having the cameras up and running, is I had Darth come down and we kicked on the Haze machine, and I just like snapped some screenshots of every single camera and loaded up the images, so that we can kind of work on the camera changes while actually seeing, like, you know, seeing the two guitar shots. That's really weird that that's like that. I'll go ahead and just fix that. Position, I want 3.14 because it's circular for some reason, and that flips it back around. Cool. So now we can actually kind of see what the cameras look like while we're working on them. I worked on these like super source things. Like I've got this, here, let me pull vMix back up in a more full fashion. Actually, let's just go to that one. So like I've got the guitar bass super source that I need to work on a little bit. It looks like the bass one might need to be zoomed out a little bit because it's a little tight there. But I was kind of working on some of these like quad super sources. I think adding a little bit of border between them kind of helped make it like not look so horrible. And actually I might do that with the side by side as well. Putting a small little bit of border in between them might actually hold them up. And I think it did the same thing when you go to like the big multi-tiles. Actually, here I can kind of show you, we'll go to the full on output and I'll just overlay my camera here. Like adding the little black borders there, I think really, ooh, that's not what I wanted to do. I think that really, really kind of helped make that shot actually look pretty cool. Also, instead of having just chaos, it's in just like sets of 4 cameras repeating. So it has like a little bit more of a simple look to it, I think. All right, back to vMix. Any rate, now that I've waxed on about this, let's go ahead and we'll just cut that over to program. What's up, Tomb Raider? How you doing? You caught the production stream today. And I think I finally have it all figured out so that I can show everybody everything that's going on, which is good. So let's see here. Let's pull back up Reaper with, nope, other one. Reaper with vMix down below. And work on some of these camera changes. First things first. Let's move this over here so I can see it and get rid of all the notes that I'm not using. Dude, I'm up to 11 active cameras now, Deanie. It's gotten insane. I'm kind of starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed with it all, in all honesty. Okay, so let's pull that up so I can kind of, let's see here. Can I zoom that out so I can see where we're at here? Okay. I don't want to have both of them showing. Actually, that's okay. I don't really care. So one thing I want to set up here is I want to move it so that the program changes, or the preview changes, happen a little bit earlier than where the actual camera changes happen. That way it's not so visually confusing in the... Actually, you know what? I was going to change this, wasn't I? So let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and... We're just going to grab all of them, and I'm going to move them all into the position where they are. And for anything where I'm not using fades, I think I'm going to switch these over to be direct cuts. I think that might make my life a little bit easier. I see I'm using a couple fades here, but yeah, one man doing all this. I am starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed. It's honestly not usually too bad until it's time for like stream and I have to like be worried about whether or not everything's actually working or not. So if we set these all to note channel 3, now they should be direct cuts. So now every time I hit one of these, it should direct cut it to that without changing the preview window, which I think is going to be a lot better for a lot of this stuff. So now I just need to look and see where are we at here. So this should make my workflow for this quite a bit better, I think. So this should be where that marquee is, and hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing all right. I'm trying to get a setup here that enables me to make this all easy for everyone to see what's going on. Okay, so now all of these cuts should be happening directly. So wherever the MIDI note is, I shouldn't have to do a cut marker on the transition, which means I can use the transitions page for solely doing different types of transitions like fades. Should make writing this a little bit quicker and easier, I think. So let's go section by section here and see. Oh, actually, you know what? I wanted to pull over to here because this is where we start doing fades. So these are my fades. So these ones for this section, which ones is it? It's up until the final pre-chorus one. So both of these bridge ones, we want to change those to MIDI channel 1 so that they feed the preview window. And to explain, the way I have this mapped out, like this program really doesn't come with any of these shortcuts. They're all customizable. So I set it up so that for these cameras, anything on MIDI channel 1 feeds the program window, and anything on MIDI channel 3 should cut directly to the program window. What do the 3000 numbers mean? Where's the 3000 numbers? I don't know which numbers you're talking about. There's so many on screen. So now if I load that up, that should feed the program window, which means that'll feed into these fade changes now. So let's check and see if that works. I'm going to 3, 2, 3, 3. Up top, the thing you are working on. Oh, that right there. That's the this right here is the measure that the project is in. So that's on measure 3,232, and it's like 4.51. I think that's right. So it's like it's looking at where in the timeline things are. Actually, you know what? That might be in. Is that in beats and seconds? I don't know what this is showing. Oh yeah, okay, that's bars. So that correlates to up here, up top. I have this in measures and beats. So again, this is like measure 3,241, beat 1. So each one of these is beat 1. So yeah, and it gets way nutty. Like once I get over to the end of the project here, the last song, we're on measure 12,377. It's a bit nutty. Luckily, I have some of these shortcuts built to help me navigate around and keep things not be too insane. So let's go back to this bridge and see if this is working the way I want to. I'm gonna pull this chat fit music down here. So let's check out this section. So it's gonna be a yeah, exactly, Deanie. It's pretty massively huge. This is pretty big. Oh, oops, I have the drums soloed. Dude, this thing has gotten pretty monstrously large. Okay, so that didn't work because it was already on that camera. So let's pull it back from the main shot. Real quick, I'm gonna go ahead and bring this master fader down a little bit. I think it's probably a little bit loud for everybody out there. So let me pull that master fader back. You just got to definitely remember to fix that before I go back and stream again, because otherwise, where the hell am I? There we go. So as I'm moving around here real fast, let me do this. Let me pull just Reaper up. Let me give you a kind of crash course over the way all this works. So anybody who's watching, so you can not be kind of lost. I have it organized in a very particular fashion. So if you look up at the very top here, it has these regions. That's like these bars. I'm going to select it right here. That's each song. So as you scroll through, you can see each different song. And that's super helpful because I can use these shortcuts up here on the right-hand side to jump around songs. Makes it easy to navigate. From there, the first thing I have, this is a tempo. And this thing feeds into my console window, and that gives the tempo for like my delays and echoes and stuff like that so that they stay on time since they're not in the Reaper section. Then I have a click track, and I use these like dummy black tracks up here to kind of separate the different areas of my session so I can visually see, and I also use different colors for each different thing. So the next group is vocals. Yeah, so I listen through the song and I do like, I have all these markers up here for every song. So like it's the intro, guitar melody, verse 1. I go through and like I have every song, and then each side every song I marker through the sections of all the songs so that I can visually move it around really quickly. Then right here, these are all like the pre-recorded tracks. Like for example, if I solo this, so here we have the vocal groups. This is my guitar group. So like if I solo this is my guitar going on. And the way I do it is this track is normally muted when I play. This is like what I would be playing live. I just have it pre-recorded here. So if I'm not playing, I can turn it on and still mix or still kind of understand what's going on with the song. So then there's the second guitar. This green section here is any auxiliary guitars. This is the keys section. So the purple section is like my 3 different keyboards, and that's how I route the 3 different keyboards to different plugins. Then this section here is the returns from all the plugins so that I can send, basically so I can mix each channel of each plugin individually, or I can send them to reverbs. And I know it's ridiculous and bonkers, but I feel like it'll make more sense because I move around pretty quickly. So if I kind of give you the crash course, it'll be easier. And then these are the rest of my keyboards. This is the pre-recorded MIDI for the keyboards. Then I have the bass guitar section right here with multiple different amps. And so the way it works is the input routes to separate amplifiers. Then I have the drums in a group. Then we get into like any auxiliary samples. So for example, if I have any printed keyboards, those will go here. So these are the kind of little things in the background that just spice things up a little bit. This next group, if you can see, they have these green solo buttons. That means they're solo defeated. So if I solo something else, they stay on. These are all like the effects. So like they're reverbs, delays, panners, radio effects, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, Deanie, I do kind of, eat and sleep and drink this stuff. A lot of these got a little bit complicated because this is like the universal audio console. And I have a bunch of these virtual channels, and I'm routing a bunch of effects. Like this channel right here routes out to the console, and then it records back in from the virtual input so that it takes the strain off of my computer. And then the last section here, these are all like the stream automation things. So these are the things that change the presets on my guitars or the basses. They run the light rigs, they run the camera changes. That's all down here in these MIDI files. This section right here is the headphone amplifiers for the performers. And then like I have like this that runs the, if I turn this on, this is like the chat music. So this is how I run that. It's got like fade ins and fade outs for the chat. And it also is where the master returns back in. So there's the crash course. Hopefully that all makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know. I know it's kind of, how long does it take to do one song? That is a hard question to answer because it kind of gets built in stages. Because most of these I kind of built them and I've added to them and done stuff. If I were to say like from learning a song to fully produced, probably between 40 and 80 hours, depending on the song, maybe. It depends because once again, like I end up going back and redoing things and changing things. So it really ends up depending on the song. I think that's the one that adds vMix back in. That sounds like fun. Let's see here. So let's get back down to my camera changes. So let's make sure these fades work during the bridge. That's what I'm kind of concerned with for the moment, and then we'll go through the rest of the camera changes. So if you notice the program changing there, so now it should fade over to that. And then here in a second, we should fade over to Darth's vocal close-up. And there's the fade. Perfect. And then I'm going to stay on this camera throughout the entirety of him doing this vocal section. My guitar's a little bit loose there. So there's the vocal, lights come down, and then cuts there to the main. So I need to check that one because that one may be just a little bit early. We're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make this grid be quarter note or eighth notes. Quarter notes is fine. So let's move that over a quarter note. I'll have to double check that with the fade out. And in fact, I might want to do a fade to black. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and do that. Let's see if we can make this work. We're gonna put in. Okay, I'm still looking at 16th notes. So let's look at quarter notes. Let's put in a fade to black like right here, and then we'll fade it back up. And that way we know for sure that that camera change can happen during the fade to black, because that program change will happen during the fade to black. Oh, you know what? I need to, let's do this. Let's switch this over to output view so we can watch what happens. There's the fade to black. And then it comes back in. I might actually have that first fade to black happen just a little bit earlier. I think that's gonna look nice. Let's try that again. Well, I mean, that's kind of nice. You get a lot of time to work on stream or other shit. All right, that worked nicely. So let's turn the overlay off and get back to, oops, wrong computer. It's kind of hard to keep remembering which computer I'm working on here. I need to get a Stream Deck for that so I can do that. That means I need to make an excuse to get you over here so that we can start jamming. And I'm really looking forward to coming over and kind of helping you work on some stuff too. Like, I want to get out there and kind of mess around with your, help with your stream a little bit. I'm hopeful that there's some stuff I can help you out with. Make that fade to black a little bit longer. Cut into our camera there. Okay, so now I want to go through section by section and check out what camera we're looking at. So, what's the best way to do this? Let's look at my desktop captures here. I think the answer is going to be that we want to look at the output. Well, but I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing, so. Your shit's dark and thrown together. I think, I've been thinking about that. The only thing I feel like you really need is a good light up against the backdrop. And I've got a couple extra lights that I'm not going to be using anymore. I'd be down to bring those out and see if we can light that background up and get you off of that. Maybe also see if we can get some depth of field going in your camera. If depending on the lens that you have, we might be able to get away with some of that. Not gonna lie, when I watch your stream, I'm thinking about things. I'm thinking about stuff that I want to, come over and try out with you. I mean, I obviously don't want to be that guy that's like, let me come take over your shit. But I just think it would be like fun to work with, or fun to have another person to do this with. It'd be fun. All right, so let's do this. I'm gonna make vMix a little bit bigger now. Wrong button. There we go. Now vMix is. You're begging. You don't have to beg, dude. I'm there anytime. I will mask up and come help you. Hell, with that HD60S, instead of you coming over here, if you want to do that, if you just want to throw on some masks and do a setup day, I'm down to do that. That sounds like fun. Okay. So guitar close-up camera is what we're going to start with. And then we're kicking over the bass. Okay, that camera's got to go. I'm not playing keyboards, so where are we at here? We don't want to use that keys tight. I think I already used the... Actually, let's go to the guitar ultra tight shot. No, I used that for the beginning, which I do like. So let's go to the guitar tight shot. That'll be good. Then where are we going from there? Let's take a look at our changes here. So let me pull Reaper back up so you can see that a little bit better. So we're doing bass tight, guitar tight. Oh, you know what? Let's throw something in between there. Let's get like an overhead shot or something for a wide. And then we go to that, and then we'll go to the vocal tight, and then we'll start half timing the camera changes. I like that. Some of them are the new cameras. So here, I'll show you the difference so you can see the difference of what the new cameras look like. So I'll go, let me pull up my overlay here. So you can see the difference in quality here. Like that's one of the webcams versus it's a little out of focus. I didn't focus the camera, but if it were in focus, like these new ones are just, they're just so nice when you see them. Like they have so much, like even right there, like where I'm poking out, you can kind of see much more detail in my guitar, catches the lights a lot better. I also, this is without the new lenses. I just replaced the lenses on both of those cameras, and they've got like, the big thing that the new cameras do that the webcams don't is having a shallow depth of field. So like you'll see when I take the shot with the new base, I got some 30 millimeter lens that go all the way down to like 1.8, I think, for the f-stop. So like the drum kit in the back and all the lights are all soft and blurry. To give you an idea here, I'll cut this one up. If you see like with this camera, like you see the drum set back here, it's all kind of soft and blurry. The lights have some depth of field blur to them. So like all of the close-up cameras are gonna have that nice shallow depth of field to kind of have the, that's really the big thing that I'm gaining with the new cameras. Is that nice shallow depth of field. Okay, so let's go back to, nope. Let's go back to that shot. Oh, you know what? I'm working on Reaper right now, so let's do that. There we go. Yeah, the new cameras are going to be real nice. I've got to install my second HDMI capture card tonight, so I'm really hopeful that that goes smoothly. I'm a little bit nervous about it. Oh, okay, that needs to be there. What's up, Xampy? How you doing? Well, I don't know about that. I don't know that guy's all that handsome, really. Let's see here. I'm gonna go to the bass tight shot there because the verse has bass guitar going. It's just bass and vocals. I'm kind of tempted actually to make that go a lot longer. So we'll have the vocal going on. So because this is a vocal part right here, and then we'll kick over to the bass. And then instead of vocal there, let's go to a wide shot that shows us both. Actually, you know what? I've used this shot before. Let's pick something else. Let's do the GoPro, because that kind of, well, no, let's go to the overhead right camera. This is the hardest part, like choosing what shots to use where. We definitely, the guitar, if the guitar is going to come in there, then let's cut over to this nice tight up on the guitar camera, because we're coming in tight there, or coming in hot. And then let's see here. The vocals are still going. We haven't seen like a big wide open main shot yet, so let's check that out. Also, I think I want to zoom that shot in just a little bit. Can I do that? I can. I just need to actually pull up the main shot and zoom that in. Let's make sure I'm not cutting Darth off too much. And then let's pan it over just a little bit so we can center that out. Dude, I'm telling you, like, OBS is nice, but when it comes to like more detailed, real like ATEM style work, vMix is just the shit. This program is awesome. It does everything that I wished OBS would do. But there is still one or two things OBS does that vMix does not, so I'm still outputting to OBS for the time being. Get a little water. You talk so much when you're doing this. Water with a hint of Powerade. Okay. My only thought here is when I'm doing this verse section, it's kind of mellow, and I'm kind of thinking I'm going to back these up and switch them to fades, and then we'll hard cut to the guitar when that kicks in. You got some iced tea? Nice. Okay, so if those are going to be there, then let's see here. I want to pull up my transitions, and why is it not showing me the stuff on channel 1? Did I screw something up? Okay. So those are there. Show me all channels. Interesting. Well, I already know that I want the fades to happen here. So we'll set transition 1 to happen here. And where's the other spot that transition 1 needs to happen? I'm running out of screen real estate. For the moment, I'm going to go ahead and make Reaper look a little bit ugly. We're just going to pull those back right there so all my tracks look a little ugly for the sake of having a little bit more of a view right here. So there's the guitar melody. So we're kicking in here. So my next fade is going to be there. Let's go to channel 2 and draw in transition 1 right here. And then I think that's the only one because I think, oh no, there's another one right here. So that happens here. Let's do transition 1 again. And then we also need to make sure we set. That's interesting. I feel like I'm missing some things here. Okay, I was missing some things. Okay, now we're in. So, you saw football and played some soccer? Nice. Sorry, I missed you were saying you were out driving around with some friends. That sounds like a good time. I haven't got to hang out with any of my friends in quite some time. I miss it a lot. Especially you, Deanie. I can't wait till we get to do some chilling. So what I'm doing here is, let me pull up vMix and show you here. There we go. So this first transition here, you can set the fade time and the transition type by these macros that I have in Reaper. So if I pull up, actually, let's go to this one. If I hit some of my MIDI keys here, you should notice, oh, it needs to be all channels. I guess let's do just channel 2. Does that work? Yeah, so see now when I click these buttons here in Reaper, the transition type changes. So I'm going to set that to fade and set it to be a 500 millisecond fade for this section. And let's give that a watch and see if it did what I wanted it to do. Oh, right. So I did not mean to record there. Let's delete all of those. I need to get a Stream Deck so I can, because right now I'm using this thing called Mouse Without Borders. I'm using like a master computer to control 3 computers. The only downside with that is that I have to have the focus on the computers. I just can't press the shortcuts. So I've got a Stream Deck on the way so I can control vMix no matter what computer I'm technically controlling. All right, so let's see what happens here with these little fades. I think this will help kind of soften this section up. So we have a fade into the vocal. And then fade over to the bass. Fade to the wide shot. And then cut to the guitar. Cool. Only thought here is I want to take all of these little fadey fades. Oops, I didn't mean to transition to there. Let's take all of these fades and move them back a 16th note. Or an 8th note, actually. Let's try that. Because with fades, I kind of typically feel like I like them to start a little bit early. That way they like finish up around the 1. I didn't see that transition. I'm going to watch that again. Looked good so far. Actually, you know what? Let's take a look at something here. So a quarter note is 500 milliseconds. So if I wanted it to land on the 1, then I would want to start that transition. Yeah, okay. So I think a 6th or an 8th note is what I want to do then. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right. So now we start the verse. And let's switch back to Reaper being the focus. Man, it's going to be so nice when I have the Stream Deck and I can label all of these so I'm not just kind of guessing at which number pad thing I set. Okay, so once the guitar kicks in. Actually, real quick, is there a way to turn that view on the right hand side off? I would kind of like to get rid of this toolbar. How do I do that? What is a Stream Deck? A Stream Deck is a USB device. There we go. Get rid of that track list. It's a USB device that I can program macros into, so that like I can change, because basically what I have is like in vMix, which is my video software, it has all the different outputs, and I've assigned macros to different outputs, and that's how I can switch between like my webcam, showing vMix, showing Reaper with vMix, and I just have all those assigned to macros on my number keypad. The problem is if I'm not focused on that computer, they don't work. So I'll be able to use the Stream Deck to have persisting macros that will always let me change no matter what computer I'm looking at, essentially. Okay, so guitar enters. Let's take a look at some of these camera transitions. So we're cutting to the guitar. Wide shot. And then I think what we're going to do is jump over to Darth's vocal close-up. We were talking before about how, did I buy the XL? I bought the middle one because there's like a 6 key, a 15 key, and a 32 key. I got the 15, and I might end up having to get a couple of those for different computers. But we were talking about using some of these tight vocal shots. There is 3 of them, at least from the research I did today. I saw 3 of them so far. I'm gonna get this jacket off. It's getting warm. All right. And as much as I hate spending money on more gear, at the same time, like productivity is nice. Being able to sit down and work and not have to like be all frustrated. Do the green squares indicate what is selected? So like a yellow square is showing what's in the preview window. Here, I'll pull up vMix so you can see it a little bit better. Oops, that's vMix. So whichever one over here has the yellow square on it, that's the one that's in the preview window. Whichever one has the green square on it is in the program window. And so they correlate there. And I'm pretty sure you can assign those colors yourself, but I just went with the defaults. Okay, so the guitar enters. Then we're going to the main wide shot. And then, let's see here. I'm kind of wondering if I should zoom in that camera manually so I can track it, like truck it out later. Well, that's something I'll get to later. So we're gonna go to that main shot, and then we'll kick over to Darth's vocal, and then we'll kick over. See, this is what I want to avoid. I want to find a good wide shot that looks okay. So if we're on Darth's vocal, it looks a little bit weird to go to that shot because it looks like we're just kind of pulling out, and I don't love that. So let's go to that shot instead, since it's pretty different. We'll go from there. It puts Darth. It's a much smoother transition, I think. And then we can go to the vocal tight. And then here, this is the... So what do I want to do here? We could do a build on the guitar. I'm doing a vocal thing, but I don't know that I'm that worried about it. We could also... oh, did I not set these up? I did not. So we need to go set those up real quick. Okay, so time to make some shortcuts. So I'm going to go pull up Reaper here so you can see what I'm doing in here. Hopefully you can see that settings window. Okay, so this is how I control things. Basically, I have a hardware MIDI device that loops the MIDI out of Reaper and brings it over to my camera computer where the MIDI gets translated into vMix. So I'm going to go, these are all the shortcuts I have currently written. It's time to add another shortcut. So we want to do add. We'll find that MIDI note right there. I don't want it to be channel 2, so let's cancel that real quick. Let's set this to channel 3 because we're doing direct cuts now. So that one, and I want to make sure it's on MIDI note on, note off. So then we want to go to, is it input. Let's see here. I'm trying to remember what the deal is here, what I need to set it as. Okay. Can I move this? Perfect. Cut direct. That's what we're looking for, is cut direct. Function. Actually, is it transition type? It's got to be cut direct. There we go. And we want to cut to one of my super sources. No one could see me. Sorry, this is so boring. We're going to be at this for a couple minutes, so I'm going to do this. We'll see you in a minute, Deanie. We're going to pull up a little bit of tunes for everybody while I'm doing this, because this is going to take a minute to set all these up. So we're going to bass wide guitar super. That one. MIDI note on. Okay. So assuming I did that correctly, now when we hit this, it should cut to that super source. Cool. Isn't it boring? I guess some people would think it's boring, but I honestly think this is a lot of fun. Like, I've been enjoying the hell out of doing this. It's very like grindy and very what's the best way to say this? It's very like data entry, but I actually really enjoy it. Oh, you said it's not boring. Okay, cool. I completely agree. Let's actually change the note or the name of this. Let's give it a title. We'll call it Super Source 1, because I don't have a better name for it at the moment. I do eventually want to go and organize all of those, but I'm not going to worry about that for the moment. That's a little bit too time consuming. Shortcuts. We want to add, find, guitar bass side by side. Should we set that to MIDI note on? Transition, cut direct. And then find my super source here. GTR BSS side by side. I have a kind of limited amount of keys that I can put there, so try and make sure that I don't screw that up. Let's go ahead and get all of these done now while I'm here. And my plan is to get in here and try and start doing this daily. This is going to be like my early in the day stuff, and then I'll take a break for a couple hours and then come back and do music streaming or game streaming. But I think I'm going to try and make this my during the day thing. Cut direct, and we're going to go to 4 tile 1. Call it 4 tile 1. I should have used an underscore, but that's okay. Did I remember to do MIDI note on? I did. Why does that? Oh, okay, that makes sense why that did that. Okay, I understand. Then we go to 4 tile 2. We want to transition, cut direct. Nope, not fade to black. Cut direct. 4 tile 2. 4 tile. I think this stuff's a lot of fun. Would I stream during the day sometimes? That's my plan. I'll probably, Deanie usually streams from like 12:30 to 2, and I don't want to step on his dick at all, so I'll probably start streaming around 2 p.m. or so. I might also do it earlier in the day. It just kind of depends. But I really don't want to be, you know, trying to stream when Deanie's streaming. He's my guy, and I like to hang out in his stream, so. And since he has a very regular schedule, I can kind of know when he's going to be there and when he's not. So we want to transition, cut direct. Stepping on his dick sounds painful. Not for me, mostly for him. But yeah, don't want to do that. So then we have 16 tile. I should be using underscores in there to make that a little bit more readable. I'm just going to do it. Yeah, I'm trying to get better about having a regular schedule. Honestly, a big part of the stress has just been like getting all of this to work. There's been so much that I haven't been able to quite make work. So now that I have it like up and running and actually have a system that I can use to really do this, it's gonna be much easier. Okay, so assuming we did this right, we should now be able to cut direct to ultra tight. Super source number 1. The guitar bass side-by-side shot. Apparently that one's not working. Did I forget? Oh, did I do it wrong? Let me look at my super sources. Did I get rid of one of them? Boom, 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 boom. Guitar bass tight quad. I set that to the wrong source. So let's go back to our shortcuts. Or did I just not add a shortcut for it? 50. Maybe I didn't add that one. Let's just do this. It'll tell me if I'm screwing it up, if I've already used that note. 27, MIDI note on. We want to transition, cut direct to boom, 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 boom. What did I name it? Guitar bass tight quad. Okay, and it doesn't seem to see that, so let's GTR bass quad. Can't get a D. So now let's see if that works. We got super source, we got side by side, which doesn't look quite right. I need to remeasure that one out. And then we got, okay, so we got 4 tile, which is more separated. We got 4 tile 1, 4 tile 2, the 16 shot, and the monstery. Oh, did I not set that right? I apparently didn't. What's up, Otherglow? How you doing? How is your day going? Yeah, I started using vMix for my cameras, and I gotta say I like it much better for running the cameras than OBS. It's got a whole lot of extra features, and the big thing for it is it just has built-in MIDI support, so I don't have to use MIDI key to key to make it work, which is exactly why it's worth it for me. So essentially I have all my computers plugged into a vMix computer, and then that outputs the output into OBS, which then runs like my final overlays. I think the pro version's like $380 or something like that. It's a little expensive, but it's not too bad. It's definitely worth it in my mind for the built-in MIDI support. It's one of those quality of life things that makes things so much better. And it also has built-in overlay channels. So rather than having to use scenes for everything, you can throw overlays on things, which makes stuff way easier. I can show you what I mean by the overlay channels here. Grab the 36 tile, and then we'll call it 36 tile. I've been super happy with it, honestly. Like it's changed my workflow a ton. So now when I hit that, cool, we've got the 36 tile. So like here, I'll pull up just vMix here real quick. And that's the other thing, it's got this NDI stuff so I can capture all the screens over the network. They're a little shitty quality, but it's at least a way of capturing 4 computers at the same time. So like I have all of these like overlay channels down here, and these are just like cool effects. And all I have to do to get them to overlay over the output is just like click on the overlay channel. I'll do one that's a little bit more obvious, like the VHS glitch. Rather than having have a whole other scene that I feed in, I can just turn it on the overlay and it'll play on the overlay of that. And yeah, you can trigger all the effects via MIDI. So basically what I'm doing is all of my different effects here, I'll pull it up on Reaper. All of my different effects, I just have on a like an overlay effects thing, and I queue them all to different overlay numbers, and that way you can call multiple effects at the same time. So for example, if I wanted to do like, let me pull up a better camera source here. Like, cut that over to the main. Like if I wanted to do like a VHS timecode, I could just press 1 on that. And then like I have like a vignette thing that I could throw on there to lighten things up. Or like a little like glitchy VHS kind of thing. And you can just turn each one onto its own overlay channel. And even better than that, like this is the thing where like the big brain play comes in. I have like this VHS glitch and then a second like VHS noise channel that I can like composite into multiple things. Why is the time? Oh, that's a time code. Or like the 35mm film grain or something. But what you can do is you can like use these, where's it at here? So like I have this one down here. This is called both VHS. Oh, God damn it. Thank you for letting me know, Otherglow. So like, for example, I have like this one VHS glitch track and I have a second one somewhere. I don't know where it moved to, but you can composite those down into another one by using this multi-window thing. So like up in here, they have this multi-view and you can pick any camera you want to throw into a multi-view as a composite. And then I can throw them both up as an effect at the same time just by using the overlay with the composited scene. So it's just so flexible. There's so much you can do. It really like has been a huge game changer. Like if I need one effect for a song, I can just make a composite of 4 or 5 different effects and turn them all on at the same time. And it's huge. It's not even necessarily, like, it definitely does save me a lot of work. The bigger thing about it too is that it just like enables you to do much more complex things in a simple way. Whereas in OBS, I feel like I would have to have like 30 scenes to be able to make something like that work. The other thing that you can do with it that's really cool is up here, these 4 transition buttons. They're different fade types. So like you have like let me do this. Let me cut something over to my program here and feed something else into preview. So like you can run different transition types, but you can also use MIDI to change which transition types and the time that the transitions take. So like, for example, oh, my computer's saying fuck you. So like down here on the camera transitions, I can use like all of these, let me get back to showing you with Reaper here. I need a Stream Deck so I know where all these things are. But like I can click a MIDI note in here and that changes what that first transition type is. So now it's a slide effect, or I could change it to a cube zoom. And then also up here, you can change the length of time that takes. So I can just click a button and change that to a 2.5 millisecond, and then change it to a cube zoom, and you get this nice, like, real quick. Oh, sorry. So you can kind of quickly do that. Yeah, you can do stingers. I think it has 2 stinger channels, and you can throw basically any videos you want in there to be the stingers. So there's just unlimited possibilities. It really like is just has everything OBS has and more. So for example, kind of, I'll show you the beginning of this track that I'm working on right now. Let me bring the music back down. It's probably because it's not free. I would imagine people tend to really like OBS because it's free. A lot of streamers don't have, $400 to be throwing into camera changing stuff, and a lot of people haven't been doing this for 2 years and worked up to needing something like this. So the nice thing is you can kind of separate different ways to do it. So like I have like my cameras on cut direct, so I don't have to feed them like into the preview window and then over to the program window. And then they also have like the other option. So for example, when I run through the beginning here, when the song's moving quickly, it should cut around my cameras pretty quick here. And then when we get to this mellow section, oops, I set those to zooms. Let's go back to fades. And now it should like fade the transitions during this mellower section. So you can see it like loaded up into the preview window and then faded over. It's just a lot of setup time. I've been working with vMix for, I don't know, 2 weeks now, and it's taken me probably about that long to get it all set up and working. Oops. And even then, I still have more automation to write for it. I'm gonna bring that back down a little bit. How many cams do I have? I have 11 running currently, but I still have 2 more DSLRs to show up. So I'm gonna be giving 1 webcam to my brother so he can start streaming. So I'll be running 8 cameras through 2 Decklink quads. Then I have a Canon DSLR that's going to be running through SparkoCam, and then 4 webcams. So that's what, 13, I think. It's nutty. But I got some cool shots now. Like I'll show you. Like I've got like a over the pianos kind of shot. a nice guitar close-up that's mounted in my keyboard. I got a nice vocal close-up for my brother. I got a good keyboard close-up. So it's coming together. I didn't know how I was going to do this video production stream, but I finally had the idea this morning to like freeze frame, because that's another thing you can do with vMix is there's these little play buttons. So I was able to go and freeze frame all of the cameras and then like export them as images. So that way like we're actually in the shots. I tried doing camera writing when we weren't in the shots, and it really made it difficult to kind of understand what was going on. Okay, so let's switch this view over like that. So now let's look through the guitar. Let's see here. So we're cutting in with the guitar when we do that, and then it cuts over to a wide shot. I think I already figured out through all this. And then we're going to the bridge with this dun, 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 bum, 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 bum. The GoPro wide. Do I want to do that? Actually, I think I want to do this the other way around. But I'm coming from a vocal tight shot. Yeah, exactly. It's nice to not have to turn anything on. So I was able to hotkey out a screenshot export and just quickly export all the screenshots. And now all the cameras can be off and I can work without having to worry about running my cameras down. Technically speaking, since I can do, it has much more in-depth color correction. I'll show you. Let me pull up vMix here so you can see it a little bit better. vMix also has a little bit more in-depth color correction, so there's like full-on color adjust, and that will let me color correct even while the cameras aren't running live, and it'll let me know what the cameras are going to be doing live. So I think I'm usually pulling like 25 blue out, and then there's also like built-in Luma keys, as well as built-in alpha channels for everything. It's crazy how much how much cool shit this program has, and then it also has full-on color wheels for every input as well, so you can really dig into the color correction. It's a lot of work to get it set up, and it costs money, but God, it is just so much better than running my cameras. And you're running the same setup as me, right? You have a computer that's running your cameras and then a computer that's running OBS, or are you just running like your audio and video on separate computers? I don't remember how you had that. 2 PC streams? Okay. So you would basically be running this exactly like me. Okay, so we'll go to the guitar type. I think right here I want to cut back to my vocal close-up. We saw it recently. Oh, DAW on one, OBS on the other. Okay. Yeah, the way I'm running is I have DAW on one, vMix on one, and then vMix outputs to a third computer that's running OBS that composites and actually sends to the stream. So it's a bit of a computer nightmare in here nowadays. Getting it all set up was a bitch, but now that it's running, it's actually pretty stable. I'm actually pretty impressed with how stable. vMix doesn't seem to be super resource hungry. I'll show you what I got going on in here. So I've got, these are all like my main camera shots that I have loaded. And then I have some virtual shots. And what's cool about these virtual shots, what you can do is like, what I'm using it for, I'll cut, or let's see here. Let's cut that over to program. And then I have this like zoomed in piano where I just took the source and zoomed it in. And then you can use this merge effect to do like virtual camera trucking. It's like you can set that to be a little bit longer. For example, you set that to like 5 seconds, and you could do like a virtual camera truck in or truck out or pan or stuff like that. I would say the resource usage is probably about the same. I think that vMix actually utilizes the GPUs a little bit better. I noticed my webcam qualities were quite a bit better than they were in OBS, I feel like. But yeah, I really love this, like being able to like grab these different shots and do these like truck ins and truck outs with them. It's such a cool thing. It's definitely not as good as camera sliders because you don't get like the same kind of like depth change. It looks a little Uncanny Valley-ish, so I probably won't use it a lot, but the 920s still do the same shit. They still have that same problem with losing their settings. And yeah, sliders are very expensive. So it'll probably be a while till I get into that. Nope, let's go that way. Okay. So when we get to the chorus, we're going to do the vocal tight. I don't want to go straight to Darth's vocal. Yeah, I feel like as long as I use it sparingly, it'll be pretty cool to have that motion in some of the cameras. I'm not going to go crazy with it and have it like doing super exaggerated motion all the time. But a little bit of it will be good. I also got some really low f-stop 30 millimeter prime lenses for my cameras. So for like the bass close-up and the vocal close-ups, they're gonna have that really nice like shallow depth of field. You can kind of see it over here in if I pull a vMix over here in the vocal camera, you can kind of see like the drum kit and the lights get that little bit of soft bokeh, which I have just been waiting for that bokeh. That's the biggest reason I got upgraded to DSLRs, to be completely honest. You know what, we're doing a tight shot, so let's go to an overhead shot, and then let's go to the base tight shot, and then we're kind of picking up steam here. If we're doing that, let's go GoPro wide. Oops, I meant to go vocal wide there, and then vocal tight, or GoPro wide there. Oh, your wife just happened to have the 1.2 lens. Nice. Yeah. It's tough because you can like quickly lose your ability to stay in focus, but I tend to run them at like 2.4 or 2.2, and they do, they have a pretty decent focal distance while still being able to get a good bokeh. I'm scared to drop it down to 1.2 or lower just because I'm really afraid that like I would like take a step back and it would just immediately drop focus. Are you using that for your vocal close-up, Mike? Because I love that shot that you added. It looks super choice. Then we're gonna go back to the vocal tight, I guess. What are we doing here at the end of the chorus? Okay, so then let's go to some kind of overhead there. You haven't moved that camera 1 inch. That makes sense, because I'll bet you if you're running it down to f.12, your focal distance is probably like that far. You probably have a very, very narrow focal distance. We haven't seen... Oh no, I did use the main shot, so I guess let's go to the overhead right shot. Actually, you know what? This is like a guitar melody thing, so let's just say screw it, and we'll use the guitar and bass tight shots. We haven't seen the guitar super tight shot in a minute, which makes me feel like that's a lot of tight shots all at once. It's nutty, but it looks cool. Yeah, I can imagine it does look really good. It is easily the best looking camera in your stream. It has such a depth to it and makes like your lighting and everything going on in the room just looks so massively huge. Okay. So we'll do vocal, and then we'll do a wide shot. We'll focus on the bass here still, because we got a little bit of Darth in there. And then what were we doing for the pre-chorus last time? I'm trying to make sure that I keep views where everybody can see everything that I'm working on here. It's hard to remember sometimes. Bridge to chorus. I don't know why I didn't. Actually, I'm going to change that. We're just going to... I called it pre-chorus 2 before. We're going to call it pre-chorus. Let me move this up here. Pre-chorus. Yeah, of course. Not a problem. The only reason any of this is working is because of you, Otherglow. If you hadn't suggested the Decklink quads and let me know how that was working, I'd have never been able to make any of this work. That got me moving down this path. So super thanks to you. Appreciate you. You know what? We're just gonna go ahead and do this. I'm gonna be nerdy, and I've just been getting in the habit of camel casing all of my stuff, so I want that consistency. Guitar melody. Yeah, I'm gonna be plugging in a second one tonight. From what I read on Blackmagic Forum, the people who are working for them said that I should be able to use 2 as long as my computer can handle it. Guitar enters. I spend a lot of time organizing. I have like OCD with it. Yeah, and I'm gonna be ditching a HD60 Pro and putting the Elgato, or not the Elgato, but the Decklink in there. So I'm basically swapping one PCI capture card for another. So theoretically, it should be pretty straightforward, I think. Chorus 1, intro, reprise. I probably waste a whole lot of time. You know what? I'm gonna be nice to everybody again here. Yeah, I really like the game capture cards. My only bummer about them is that they seem to do like a solid 30 frames per second instead of 29.97, and they don't seem very flexible. So down the road, I might try and change that out with another Blackmagic like single HDMI capture, something that has a little bit more options for frame rate. Verse 2. I think ultimately sometime down the road, I want to change to using 24 frames per second, just because I like that little bit more cinematic look, and now that I have cameras that'll do it. I don't know if the webcams will handle that though. They may be a strict 30 and 60, which if that's the case, then as long as I am using any webcams, I'm pretty much tied to 30 frames per second. Bridge. Yeah, I've been having trouble with different lights flickering and trying to find that. The webcams are just a super pain in the ass with that. It's not a big deal with the DSLRs because I can mess with the shutter speed. But hopefully I'm ditching the one light. Yeah, I'm using either 1/30 or 1/60. I don't think I went all the way down to 1/30, but I might have actually now that I changed over to distorted. I'm just gonna call this, yeah, distort, guitar, enters. What's up, Deanie? What did I do during the last 20 minutes? Just been working on cams. I'm kind of doing some session organization. Final pre-chorus. I like to marker out all my songs and kind of have everything really easily laid out. Intro, reprise. Yeah, we'll call it final, intro, reprise. Yeah, exactly. The low f-stop lenses are really nice in low light. I just bought like I just bought those prime lenses, and I might get a couple more 16mm prime lenses that go down to 1.8 for exactly that reason, because they do the low light so well and get that bokeh, which is kind of a bummer because I bought 4 cameras that I got just kit lenses with, but I mean, it's always still nice to have. Yeah, that's what I got. I'm using Sony cam, so I got the Sigma 30mm. I might grab a couple of the 16mm as well, just for that exact reason. They're just so clean. Okay, where were we with camera changes? Do most people use cameras like you would to take pictures for stream? It depends. Camcorders, and I have one camcorder. I have a a Canon HFG 30. They're a little easier to work with because the kind of cameras you take pictures with typically don't use power supplies, they use batteries. So camcorders are easy for that, but because of the way DSLRs are, they have a slightly different look to them, and they also get that bokeh effect, that depth of field that blurs out the background a little bit easier than camcorders do, so that's why a lot of people use them. Okay, let's start looking at these camera changes again. So I think we were in chorus 1. Got a vocal close-up. Interchangeable lenses is huge. Actually, Otherglow, that might be an even better selling point right there. You might be very right about that. I need to watch through that again. I wasn't paying attention. Because, yeah, my camcorder does not have an interchangeable lens, and it's a huge bummer. Because I wish I could put like a lower f-stop lens on that, and because I have to zoom that in a little bit. And that's the other bummer, that with those kit lenses that I got, the f-stop definitely raises with the zoom, so it kind of makes the zoom very not usable. So we have vocal close. Cutting over to the overhead. Got that nice guitar tight shot there. A little bit of bass, and then we're getting back to vocals. See both of us here. Actually, yeah, that's fine. Now I'm gonna go ahead and use this shot because we haven't really seen it much. Oh, it came with 3 vintage Nikon lenses. Nice. Yeah, that's what I'm running too. I've got 4 A5100s and 2 A6000s. Those Sony DSLRs are they're just so good. I was blown away by the thing. No, I don't have to. The Sony ones have a built-in little like they have a built-in port for plugging in a battery pack so that it can stay powered on. Yeah, exactly. Since I don't use autofocus, it's super easy. Although I ordered a bunch of my dummy batteries and they haven't shown up yet, so that's kind of a bummer. Here we go. So we're gonna do this. Actually, you know what? Let's not do that vocal close up there. You can't find one for the Olympus. Oh, that's a bummer. Yeah, they can be kind of hard to find, and like there's a whole lot of knockoff brands ones, which I went for all of the knockoffs because they're like a quarter of the price of the name brand ones. And the other big thing is all of the actual Sony brand ones and Canon brand ones are all out of stock right now. You can't get them. So that really kind of threw off my shit. Let's go to Darth's vocal here real quick. We haven't seen that. Because I'm not actually singing anything. Yeah, I don't know why they're like $100. They seem a bit overpriced in my opinion. That's exactly what I did. I bought the third-party one. That was exactly what I did. Then we'll go to my vocal tight shot, and then we'll finish that up by going to. I think we'll go to this guitar tight shot because you don't need to always. Yeah, they were like $24. So, you know, even if I don't know. Even if someday down the road I need to buy an official one, it's not like I'm out a ton of money. It was $20. We'll fade over to a wide shot. And then Darth has his talking part. Fade into that. God, vMix makes such a difference. So glad I accidentally found it. I only found it because I was like just diving around on Sweetwater and I saw an ad for it. Sometimes I don't hate paid product placement. So we're just staying on Darth this whole time he's talking, and then I come back. No one could see me. And then we'll have the fade to black happen, which we won't see right now because we're not previewing the output. Cut to both of us. Show Darth off a little bit. Then let's get tight on me. And then let's go to... Wait, did we come in with the main shot? We did. So let's not go to the main shot. Let's go to... We're coming from the... Let's go to the overhead right. We haven't seen that in a minute. And then... I'm technically doing some vocals this time, but it's still a cool guitar part. So we'll do this shot. And then we'll do this guitar shot. Actually, no, let's go to something else because I'm going to finish up the solo on that shot. So let's go to this wide shot. We haven't seen that yet. We haven't been using it very much. Quick question for anybody out there. I have this, let me do this. Oh, you know what? Let me just switch that to channel 3. I have this piano overhead shot that will kind of show my guitar playing off a little bit. I'm kind of wondering if I can use it when I'm doing like vocal stuff. Actually, you know what? If I'm doing vocals, that could be a really cool shot. Let's do it there. And then we'll use this guitar tight shot to finish things off. That could look cool. That seemed early. I think you're right, Otherglow. I think it'll work. Actually, you know what? That whole thing is a guitar solo, and Darth is in that shot the whole time. Yeah, I really tried to like find angles that were separated from each other so that, because like what I'm really trying to avoid is having something where like, you know, for example, like I'm trying to think of one that does this. Like for example, if I have this one up here and this one's here, to like really avoid cutting between those two cameras, they look like the same thing with a little bit of angle. So I'm trying to come up with like a little bit of theory of like what cameras I can and can't cut to. But since Darth is visible in this super guitar tight shot, I think I'm just gonna stay on it till the end of the track. I mean, the end of the song is a guitar solo, so we'll just stay there. And the lights will start fading down. Now we just need to make sure that this last cut happens at the right time. So this is where, let me get rid of vMix here for a second. You're always trying to angle at least 30 degrees from your last shot. Yeah, I typically try and like, if I'm like on this side of the room, try and cut to this side of the room, or like if I'm over here, like come up and over here. Just anything to kind of avoid that like uncanny look of feeling like, I don't know, if you don't do it right, if you go like left, it can look super awkward. So I also have been trying to avoid doing things like, for example, get back to vMix, trying to avoid doing things like this where like it's a vocal close-up of me and then cuts to a guitar close-up of me, just because if it's like already a close-up shot of me going to another close-up shot of me, even though the angles are different, it's still something I'm trying to avoid doing, I guess. Or maybe a better example of this would be like using one guitar tight shot to another. I still feel like that's a little bit unnatural because it's kind of like, I guess I'm also trying to avoid cutting to the same focal point just because it's weird. Okay, so we want to make sure this cut is happening during my fade to black in OBS, which it is. Cool. If you all can give me like 30 seconds here, I've been like downing water since I'm talking so much. I'm gonna go use the restroom real quick. I'll be back in just a moment. All right. You know, I think my other streaming friends, Deanie, Otherglow, anybody else who's out there could probably relate with this with me, but it gets a little frustrating sometimes how, like, seems like every 5 minutes there's one more thing to buy, some other piece of gear, some other piece of software. Like, it just kind of never ends. You can solve that by being poor. Yeah, but see, if you're poor, then the solution is just more time in duct tape solutions to make something work. Let's see here. Let's bring up vMix and Reaper again. There we go. You feel like you're about done buying stuff? I wish I felt that way. It's one of those things that, like, every time I tell myself I'm done buying stuff, I end up buying more anyways. So there's kind of no point in lying to myself. Okay. So that camera change happens there. Okay, we're going to listen through this whole thing and watch the camera changes in output mode and see how it looks. So let me throw on the overlay channel. That did not do what I wanted it to do. That's kind of weird, but okay. That's not right. There we go. Now we're in output mode. Oh, I know why it's doing that. I'm being stupid. There we go. Put that in overlay mode. Now I'm back. So now we're watching the actual final composited output. Yeah, what's up, Silence Noise? How did the end of stream go? Sorry, I had to jump out. I was getting ready for production stream. You want all those Pultec clones and other awesome clones they have? I knew you were gonna say Pultecs. I knew it. All right, here we go. Let's watch these changes and see how they look. Oh, wait, hold on. First things first. It should be starting with the chat cam. The normal craziness. Yeah, I know how your streams go. So let's watch these changes and see if they all work the way I want them to. Okay, first things first, I already saw a problem. Let's go back here. I want that first camera change to happen a little bit earlier. I think I can get away with it cutting over a little bit earlier. I have everything set up to do like a fade to black in OBS, and I want that fade to black to hide the camera transition so that you can't see it happen. That's all going to stay in OBS. Since I already have a system going for it that is relatively easy and is functional, I'm figuring why change it. Because essentially all I'm doing with that, like, if I were doing it in OBS, here, let me pull up Reaper so you can, oh, I have Reaper open. I have these right here. These are like these editable markers. They're action markers. Those are calling scripts that like copy a file over the network to the OBS computer. So like that already works and is functional. So I don't see any reason to change it, essentially. Yeah, that was something I figured. Here, I'll show you the way it works. Let me find the script file here. Actions. Script calling markers. Yeah, so let me see if I can find. So right here, these are all my, like, oh, you know what? I don't have Reaper open, so you can see it. These are all my different songs, and these are scripts. So what these scripts do, if I pull up like they're Lua scripts, and they're a real simple script. Essentially, all it's doing here is it's an Xcopy function that copies like the image that I have and overwrites it over to my stream computer over the network. That's why it's got the whack, 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 because the escape key for this is also a whack. So I have to like double up everything, which is super frustrating. But that basically, I have like a single placeholder title thing, and then it just overwrites that every single song. Probably clipping me right now. Go right ahead. It works really well. And then the other thing that I use the Reaper action markers for is at the end of the song here. I don't know that I've ever actually shown you guys how this works. So this marker right here, the action of it is for a region. So when it hits that marker in playback, I just leave my Reaper section in, yeah, silence is already up on that. So then it just jumps over to my chat loop things and it just switches the scenes and runs all of those changes for me. Then when I'm ready to play a song, all I have to do is click the song over here and it'll jump over to the song that we're checking out. So let's go back to output mode. So we got our guitar close up. It's all about action markers, man. You can do everything with those. And then we got some nice fades for the verses. The second verse doesn't have any non-guitar parts, so I think I'm going to keep those on cuts. Take it easy, Tomb Raider. Thanks for popping in. I'll be around. A little bit longer change times. Sorry if my focus looks off. I'm kind of following the preview video myself here. Got a guitar shot. I haven't hung any up. I do have them back on the floor though. I've got 4 of them in a line on the floor that I can do like cross patterns, some movement stuff. I don't have like the full system built yet, but eventually my plan is to have 4 on the floor and 6 up in the air coming down. That's like my final design plan. It's just gonna take forever and a day to program them all. Also, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure ADJ sells that same light for like 3 times the price with a different name on it. It's so much work to do all the overhauling. It really just takes forever. Ooh, I'm kind of tempted to. You can use the Pocket Pro, and I swear it's the Pocket Pro. I swear ADJ just bought a bunch of Chinese lights and slapped their logo on it. It has all the same gobos. Like, I am 100% certain that is what they did. Those dirty bastards. Okay, I have an idea here. Let's bring this back. Actually, you know what? Let's go to vMix, because I think I want to create a new source here. Let's do do I want to do this with, oh, you know what? Let's go to full-on vMix. But yeah, I think that's a little bit dirty, actually. I am pretty certain that they're selling the exact same Chinese light, just at like 150% the cost or price. I understand why they do it, but it's still kind of crappy in my opinion. It's a little bit dirty. What I'm thinking about trying to do here is create like a new virtual shot. So let's try this out. I'm gonna add input. Actually, should this be a virtual shot or a super source? I think I want to do this as a super source. So we're gonna add an input. Actually, I'm just gonna add a blank input. Just call it blank. We'll set it here so that it comes in numbered right. Oh, you know what? I thought I was on vMix, but I keep having it wrong. So now we can go over to the multi-view, and I want to choose, I think I want to choose Darth's vocal tight. Darth vocal, and then we'll choose the guitar tight shot. No. We'll do the guitar ultra tight shot. Actually, that one has Darth in it, so I'm not going to do that. We'll go with that one. There we go. So now what I'm hoping I can do, or do I have to do this on the individual sources? I was kind of hoping I could Luma out, but I don't think I can. I don't think this is going to work the way I was hoping it would. Maybe not. That's a bummer. Okay, so the multi-view does not let me Luma stuff out. So what's my way to do? Basically what I want to try and do is have both shots in there. Here, I'll show you kind of what I'm thinking. I would like to get this kind of thing going on. Let's turn that off for a moment. I'm kind of hoping to get that on the main, that in the preview, and like use the T-bar thing to kind of have like both of them going on when the with a haze. So like you can see me like back behind there doing that. I think that'd be kind of cool. So how am I going to accomplish this? I mean, I could do the split screen. I could do that. But since it's like this nice dreamy atmosphere, I kind of like the idea of having the two just over the top of each other. I've had a little bit of bad luck automating the T-bar, to be completely honest, because I do have that in here. So I could... Oh, the way you set up cams makes it impossible? That's a bummer. I'm having a hard time kind of figuring out the best way to do some of those things. It can be kind of tricky to figure out what the best way to do that is. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Also, there we go. Yeah, vMix is... It really does run the cameras in a much better way, I feel like. Yeah, you'd basically be doing the exact same setup I'm doing, I think. You'd be pretty much running it the way I'm doing it, which I think makes the most sense to have the cameras hook up into this. The only thing vMix can't do, well, two things vMix can't do. I don't think it plugs into OBS chat the same way, or Twitch chat the same way, and it also can't apply LUTs the way OBS can, and I rely on LUTs pretty heavily for a lot of my post-processing. So that's kind of like the main thing holding me back from doing that. But like things like this T-bar is fully automatable in... Is that a preview? Which means I would need to be out by there. Maybe that's it. Maybe I just fade it back out and call it a day. Because that should automate the T-bar and let that happen. So if we go into vMix now, you should see as this plays, that T-bar should fade in. The only thing I don't like about this shot is that we're both in the same place, which makes it look a little bit weird. What if we change the preview to the other one? Maybe I'm in a slightly different position in that one that would make this work, because I'm off to the left here. Actually, this shot might work a lot better. Oops, I'm on the wrong main shot. Let's cut back over to Darth's pretty face here. Ooh, it's kind of sexy. It'd be nice if I was a little bit more to the left, but it could kind of have that like dreamy vibe to it. What happens when the T-bar moves down now? Yeah, I was afraid of that. So I need to find a way to have this T-bar fade happen before that comes in. So if I do that, if I just pull it out like that, pull snapping off, we're at 37. If I just really, really quickly, before that cut happens, have the T-bar throw back down, it may not even be super noticeable. I might finally have a way to do this. Let's find out. Oops. Let's cut Darth back over to the program again. So now we have this. We want to get the, fade to black is up. Where's the guitar? Ultra tight shot. Boom. What does that look like with the T-bar up? And will this work? Oh, apparently I have to actually run it through. T-bar fades in, so you can see me playing the guitar part. I'm gonna kick this over to vMix so everyone can see the output. When we're both moving around a little bit more, it might not look so terrible. I didn't love the way it looked right there at the end. You could kind of see everything change. That's the only problem I've had with trying to make this T-bar thing work, is it just really really struggles with the last couple seconds. Every time I try and get it to do something right at the end. So the T-bar fade is up. So I've almost kind of felt like giving up on this, because maybe it's that the T-bar fade needs to happen like right before that happens. We'll see how quickly vMix can work on this. I mean, we're looking at like what, 0.03 seconds. So if we just get it to like fade out right there before the cut in a very imperceptible way, with a very fast fade, maybe that'll make it work. Let's find out. Yeah, actually that's not a bad point there, that we could ditch the alpha shot partway through, like have it fade back out. Actually, that worked. That did work. We could like maybe like partway through here. So vMix can work under very short time scales. That's good to know. Maybe what we can do here in this very small imperceptible thing is like have it start transitioning more. I guess the secret to it is that it just have to have this thing finish right before. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm doing. I have to have the T-bar thing finish just milliseconds before the cut happens, because this is where my cut's happening. So maybe we can just really, really mellow that out. Let's see what happens here when we load everything up correctly. Let's get that up there. Let's get you in my preview window. Dude, it's so much like doing lights. It's just tedious programming. So we got this kind of alpha shot. And yeah, like you're always doing workarounds. Always doing workarounds. Actually, you know what? Since Darth is in the background of that shot, I might have it go ahead and get all the way up and see if that does the trick. Although now I feel like it's going to do some kind of weird fuckery. Oh yeah, this is how you're doing cameras too. There's just so much little like workarounds that you have to do to make everything work when you're doing stuff like this. It gets kind of annoying. It feels like half of my work is just getting workarounds. Dude, ceiling cam is the way to go. I threw one up on the ceiling and it's pretty cool. Stupid guitar fuck up. So now we luma or alpha over to the full other shot. Ah, okay, so this T-bar gets really bitchy about that because it like is hitting bottom. So what's the answer here? Do I need to just leave it up? Maybe the answer here is the T-bar just needs to stay up and not cut back down. I'm still not 100% sure how this T-bar thing is going to work. When I tested it the first time, I kind of thought that I had made this work. But then I remember it not working when I went back and tried it a second time. The way things usually go. Because like having the automation go down seems to fuck it up. So maybe it just needs to stay up and then the next T-bar fade will go from top to bottom. That worked. Then the only question is making sure I deal with it at the end of the song. That's what I'm worried about, is that if I don't have a T-bar... Actually, you know what? I do have a way of doing this. All I have to do is make this one last camera change be a preview window change and not a program window change, and then use the T-bar to cut it down. That should work. So let's set this to note channel 1 so it's queuing up my preview window instead of cutting to the program window. And just fade in, lining up the same shot twice. I don't know, actually. That's actually... Well, let's find out. That actually might be a quicker and better solution to this. Because what if... Because you're saying, like... I think I had thought about this earlier. Like, load that as a direct cut. Then load it into the preview window as well. And then pull the T-bar down and call it a day. Theoretically, I don't see why this wouldn't work. Let's see here. We're going to cut to the guitar close up, and let's say the guitar tight shot or the vocal tight shots in the preview window. Give you guys vMix so you can see. So what I'm doing here is, yeah, I'm kind of hoping that this is going to work, because that way I can just load that into the preview window and it'll T-bar over, but who cares, because it's T-barring to the same shot. It does weird things when I just jump in cuts, though. Okay, so that's something to know. So we're gonna quick cut to the chat cam, and then load up the chat cam in preview and T-bar over, and that should negate the issue of the T-bar. Booyah! Workaround accomplished. Some hacky bullshit, but goddammit, it works. So now I just need to go do that over on the Mega Man X thing as well, because I'm pretty sure... Now the only question here is, do I want to have this be just a constant get out the duct tape? Dude, streaming is all about the duct tape. I think maybe I want to have this thing start fading in here and just do like a smooth fade the whole way rather than doing that half and half kind of thing. So I think maybe something like that is more what I'm looking for. Let's try this out. That should be... Oh, okay, I understand. So we fade over to his vocal track. We load up my guitar into the preview. We start T-barring it into the alpha. And you can see the guitar start coming in, and it's just going to slowly transition the two shots. That is sexy. Ah, fuck. I swear to God that worked a minute ago, didn't it? I swear that worked a minute ago. This is my least favorite, like when it works once and then you change nothing, but it doesn't work again. We might be able to get around that by doing the same kind of thing. Like once this T-bar finishes up, go ahead and... Dude, MIDI is so frustrating how fickle it can be sometimes. Like it just really feels sometimes like it just does not want to play nice for you. Some days it just is a huge pain in the ass. So it's just workarounds and workarounds and more workarounds. Let's see if we can do the same shenanigans here. Oops. Get that up there. Also sucks that I have to watch through this whole thing every single time to see if it's going to work or not. So time consuming. I couldn't tell if that actually worked or not. Did it seem like there was a frame of gap there? It kind of felt like there was a... You know what? There's an easy way to fix this. We have the T-bar finish just a little bit earlier, and then we do this program or preview cut more like on the corner note. That might be the workaround we needed. So that way when it cuts to preview, we're still there. Let's try it again and see if that works. Just T-bar until the cows come home. Dude, this whole setup is just gonna be me figuring out what glitches and weird ways this all behaves. T-barring manual or automated just doesn't work the way you'd expect it to, because you can't like release it and let it go back to. It just doesn't quite behave the way it should. There we go. That's a workaround. All I gotta do is let that T-bar finish maybe the smallest bit earlier than I would really care for it to. I can live with that. See how the end looks, and then I think we're done with this track. Actually, you know what? I have another idea. How would this work? Because a blank is just going to look black, isn't it? Because I kind of want to do like a really long... Oh, you know what? I do have a way to do this. Because I want to get a real nice fade to black going here with this fade out. So we're going to use the T-bar again. And this should actually... Actually, I might need to switch around the way that goes then. So we're going to T-bar again, but this time in the program I should have a just a black that I can throw up in the preview there. Why'd the vocal type go black? That's weird. Okay. Oh, wait, that was doing, yeah. Oh, I put it in the wrong spot. So many things. So we'll load this black into the preview window there. Why is it overlaying over the vocal tight? Is it because of the T? No, because it still shows vocal tight. It's doing like an overlay on it for some reason. For why you fill out both preview and let's delete this and insert. It should be on channel 1. Okay, I must have accidentally set the same shortcut to do a cut at the same time. Let's go look at our shortcuts and see if I screwed something up here. I didn't think I did a cut direct for the black. Play Freebird. I hear that on stream so much. I'm sure you do too. Okay, so it's not cutting direct. So why is loading stuff up in the preview window doing both right now? This is not how it was behaving a few minutes ago. Let's do this. Let's force it to channel 1. Maybe that's the answer. Nope. Is it doing that over here too? No. It's just when I'm trying to insert a new note. So here we go. We're gonna do one of these. Assume that Reaper's being buggy. I don't know. We're gonna just copy and paste this note because I know this note works properly. And change it to note channel 1. And now it's not behaving weird. Okay. Okay. Why? Who knows? That's something I will never probably understand why that just happened. I want to make sure I cut direct there, so we're going to finish our fade out here. Pro Tools wouldn't be buggy. Try saying that with a straight face. It just wouldn't even offer it. I mean, there's something to be said for not implementing things that run in a buggy fashion. Am I after the T-bar? Okay. So let's see if this is going to do what I want it to do. Now it just did it again. Why? Yeah, it just did it again. What the fuck? Why the hell is that happening? Why is it overlay? I don't have any overlay channels on. So what's going on here? That's super weird. This note channel's doing the same thing again. Look, I just made the note and it wasn't doing that a minute ago. And now it is doing it. So what changed? Note channel 1. No, it's doing it again. Okay. Can you blame MIDI? Dude, I don't even know. Maybe it is a MIDI thing. Maybe this is just a glitch. Well, is it happening if I go to other songs over it? You know what? It's got to have something to do with this damn T-bar. There we go. I figured it out. I did it dumb. The T-bar was pulled down slightly. Okay. Learning new things. At least we understand it now. I gotta really watch the MIDI automation on this T-bar. So now we cue up the black. Begin fade out. Okay, that did not even close to do what I wanted it to do. So leaving the T-bar up does not function the way I'd hoped it would have. Which means I need a way around that. So what's my way around it? This is what I tried in the past. Let's see if it works. Let's reverse. Actually, we'll put a section in here so that we can pull that down temporarily. Dude, it's gonna be constant workarounds. That's just how it's gonna be. So what if I do this? What if I don't? Do Blablot's trying to tell you what to do, huh? No, that's not gonna work. So that needs to at least stay up through there. And then we'll throw so this is what I was trying before. I was trying to just take it and bypass it when it wasn't being used and see if I could use that as a pseudo workaround. So then we would do like the same kind of thing here. And then we already have our little workaround set at the end so we can T-bar back down. I have no idea if this is going to work or not, or if it's going to break everything, but let's try it. This feels hacky and feels like it's not going to work. Also, oh, that's why. It thinks I'm in a T-bar fade now? What? Okay, this may not work. Okay, so it didn't fuck anything up there. So it seemed like our bypass might have worked. The T-bar's reset. So even though we're in bypass, it still managed to reset the T-bar somehow. I'm so bad at social media, I don't pay attention to any of it as much as I should. Okay, theoretically, T-bar becomes unbypassed. And works. This workaround might actually work. Then we load up both previews so that when the T-bar happens again, it doesn't matter. And we're out. Okay. Let's check the first time around and make sure it worked. Oh god, this is some hacky bullshit right here. Yeah, social media is just, it's something I need to be better at. I definitely need to like be more active on there. I'm just so bad at it. If this actually works, I'm going to be amazed. rushing that guitar because I was doing a vocal. So we let the T-bar finish. We fake it with loading up the preview and program. And then we put the T-bar in bypass mode. Hey, it worked. I can't believe it worked, but it worked. Dude, all of the things that would be super easy if you were like actually operating the hardware becomes such a freaking workaround when you are automating it. Fucker! That worked last time. Why didn't it work this time? Damn it. You were saying that it would have been more climactic, Deanie. Well, there you go. Apparently, switching that T-bar got all fuckery on me. So let's try this. Let's cut that back over. Now let's run it here and see if it works. Okay, so it works like that. Do I need to maybe like have that happen before the bypass goes on? Because what I could do here is these are fade to blacks. I see the cut right here. We're about to get some. Oh, dude. Oh, thank you so much for the sub, dude. Appreciate you. That's really, really kind of you. So we'll do this. We'll just do this T-bar super fast right here, and have it switch, and then it'll do a hard cut. Actually, what camera are we cutting to here? Where am I at? Where am I at? Where am I at? We're cutting to the main camera. So let's duplicate that with a program load up. We'll do our hacky solution like we do. We're in a fade to black. So we'll have that T-bar go down like that, no problem. Then we'll bypass the, actually, you know what? If we're doing that, we shouldn't even need to bypass the T-bar anymore, right? Because we found a different workaround. Let's try it. Okay, looking good so far. We start our T-bar fade. All the drama, is this shit gonna work? Oh, you know what? Hold on. I need to, we need to check it in the output, because that's all that matters. Because it's gonna fade to black, which hides the fuckery, and we come back in normal. Beautiful. Fade to black to hide the bullshit. All them hot fades. So we're just gonna have to do a bunch of bullshit hackery to make this work. That's what it's gonna have to be. I'm gonna have to like load up program and preview fades to bullshit my way around. Now, we still haven't seen if this last one works yet, so. Oh, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. So we get that fade to black, we transition, kick over to the main cam, back into OBS. Booyah! Fucking A, man. It worked. I can't believe we actually got this T-bar thing to automate and work. That's kind of crazy. Okay, so I think we're done with this song, and it's time to go to a different one. Take a look at vMix, and actually, you know what? I'm going to give you the Reaper view because I'm going to meander over to a different song. Because there was one other that I had started doing that I already worked out the camera changes, but I was using all this like shenanigans to do the cuts. So I'm going to remove all of those in favor of a better way to do things. So I have one fade there. Okay. Super confusing. Oh, no worries. I'll be here working. I pounded 2 cups of coffee and a Gatorade full of water though. It's time for me to restroom again. Let me pull up the backing music for everybody so you're not just bored to death here. And I'll be back after I pee. All right. Now, I think one of the things I actually need to invest in is a better chair. I'm going to sit here for hours and do this. Ugh. Minus 21 for the background music. I don't know, like... Is that where it's coming in? Minus 21? Yeah, I guess it is. Normally, I don't usually run it through this way. I usually bring it in through Reaper. And the big thing I need to do is I've been lazy. I need to go pull up a Reaper session with all of those and go through and normalize all of them. I haven't done that yet. Here, let me show you what I'm doing, Deanie. Since I haven't actually normalized them yet, I am just like running a compressor that just like smashes the piss out of it if something comes in loud. I need to stop being lazy and just pull up a Reaper session and go normalize all of those tracks. Because I've definitely been lazy about that. Okay, so let's do this. We're gonna re-rig this from the very beginning here. Dude, the LA2A is just like the answer to all of my problems. Actually, let's just do this. Let's grab all of those cuts and just get rid of every last one of them. Then we're gonna go up to my camera changes. And we're gonna grab everything for the moment and put everything into Note Channel 3 and put it directly on where the cuts happen. That way we can go in and change the effect shots. I think this is going to be a little bit cleaner of a way to do this. I just need to look and see where those fade shots are. So where are my fades? I should only have a couple. So this one right here is a fade transition. Here's my marquee. Dude, I use that LA2A just so much. It's probably my single most used plugin. Oh, those are probably in the right spot. I probably use that one plugin more than almost any other UA plug. It's just so useful. Also, as I'm seeing these now, it's starting to look more and more like they're not lined up just right. Yep, they're not. We need to come back at least another... Oops, don't select everything out there. Let's try this again. Select everything, smash it back a quarter note. There we go. So let's watch through this and see if everything at least works. Okay, so here's where my T-bar thing is. Actually, let's fix this first. So if it's T-barring up, where am I going? I'm going to be landing in the guitar tight shot. So we want to throw in another guitar tight shot like that. Wait, no, that's not what I want to do. What I want to do is use the shot that I'm already on. Where am I coming from? I'm probably on the... It says guitar side by side, but that seems like an odd choice. I don't feel like that's what I wanted. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong part in the MIDI. Guitar solo. Guitar tight zoom is what I have chosen, which I don't have an auto cut to. So we're just gonna go with the guitar ultra tight. Man, everything still looks like it's super late. So we're definitely gonna need to go back and revisit all of this. Oh, motherfuck. This is what I get for not doing it all right the first time. Okay, so this one should probably be like here. So this one needs to move over quite a bit. These, let's see here. Let's just go through and grab until I see where we're lost. We're over. It looks like about a quarter note on all of these. So let's just go grab them all and knock them all over a quarter note. These look like they're even further over. I didn't have any consistency with where I put the preview cuts because I didn't need to have consistency. I made mistakes. All the mistakes. These look like they need to be there. These are in the right place. And then it looks like those are a ways behind. Isn't this so much fun? This is just so interesting and intriguing. It's quality content. Oh shit. Did I miss a whole bunch of notes? I did. Motherfucker. Those I decided were okay. That looks okay. Those look okay. You're out here in no man's land. I don't really know what you're doing. Oh boy. Well, we're going to have to guess at these for the time being. That's got to happen right there. These are all off by a quarter note. Those are all in the right place. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and watch through. Let's see what happens. Okay, that's got to change. I know, like, we got a long ways to go, but I'm already seeing that that's not good. Let's do the, what kind of coffee? I have Starbucks coffee. I have, like, a whole bunch of, you know, ground coffee. It's just Starbucks. I'm a basic bitch. I like me my Starbucks. Hold please. Something did not look right there. Let's try that again. Cut. 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 These need to be here. Big box coffee drinking asshole. I know. I feel like I'm missing. We got the super source. Also, I don't think I need to load up that preview there, did I? Put it in the wrong spot. Also, this should be a channel 3. I missed that somehow. That wasn't right. Maybe there. Also, this piano tight shot is not good. Let's do this overhead shot. It's cool. So is Super Source picture-in-picture? Sort of. Here, let me show you. vMix is actually a little bit different with the way that its Super Source works. So, like, let's say, the way I'm creating these, like, let's say I wanted to make a picture-in-picture type thing, I could go and add a blank input here. So I'll go add a blank input, and then I can pull up this like multi-view, which is this thing right here, and I can load up in order any active camera or source or anything that I have. So like, let's say I wanted to do like the bass tight and then like the vocal tight, I can grab and like just control zoom and scroll. Well, it doesn't seem to want to actually move, but I swear it's like, there we go. You just control and scroll and you can move it around and easily place it. Or you can save presets like this that save like different presets of where the cameras go. So it's got a bunch of built-in super sources. If I wanted to do like 4 of them, I could, this is how I do this. I just go pick the different shots that I want and throw them in there like that, and boom, as many super sources as I want. So any scene can have 10 super sources in it. So basically like 10 downstream key or upstream keys, which is kind of crazy. Not to mention the fact that not only do you have that, but you also have 4 overlay channels. So like with this, I could cut this over to my program, and then I could also throw up my my webcam. Where you at? I could also throw up my webcam as an overlay on top of that there. So with 4 overlays, you technically have 14 sources that you could throw up over anything. Not to mention you can composite stuff into more things and overlay them. So really, it's kind of limitless the amount of picture-in-picture and overlay stuff that you can do with this program. It really can do as much as your computer can handle, it seems. But that's why it was so easy to create some of these like 36 tile things, because all I did is I used this multi-view to create a 4 camera thing, and then I went into this and then just loaded up the 4 camera thing and put it into the same kind of tiling effect but with more cameras. And then same thing here, just use the 4 tile and laid it out in smaller things. So there's just super easy to create as many super sources as you can possibly want, which I'm going to mess around with doing some more super source stuff like this, possibly. I just need to decide where I would put it. Like I might do like, let's mess with this shot. Like I might do like the bass tight shot and then have my guitar tight shot down there as a super source. Like that actually works pretty well, and it's super easy to do. It's like just right there, quick super source, done. Technically speaking, if you do it with the overlay channels, you can add borders and stuff, but I always think that looks a little bit tacky anyways. I'd probably want to do it with like a drop shadow or something, which is also super easy to do with the way this super sourcing works. That's how I'm getting like these outputs that have my webcam on it, and also like vMix on top of Reaper with the shadowing on it. I'm just doing like a multi-view output over here. I've got a desktop capture right here with a couple of web drop shadows. Oh, you can't see that anymore. That's not, is it capturing? Yeah, there we go. So I got a couple drop shadows and then like the Reaper capture and the vMix capture, and I'm able to overlay that. Makes it super simple. Basically, vMix is the shit. It does all of the things that I wish OBS would do. Usually I might mess with that here in the some of these other things, because we've got this shot here. Why don't we go ahead and do that? Let's throw in that first super source and see how that looks. It's kind of cool. I don't hate it. The super source thing, like the picture-in-picture, can look a little cheesy, and I want to avoid it being overly cheesy, and it also might affect my ability to cut cameras, so I might not do it super often. Wow, that's definitely not the right shot to do after having the bass tight shot. Let's actually go to a guitar super tight shot. Then we're going to a wide, Darth's vocal. There we go. Let's take a look at that. Feels like it missed a cut there. Like, I know I'm moving through shots pretty quickly, but it just felt like there was a missed It felt weird not changing cameras there because like I feel like the expectation was already there. Ah, don't like that. Avoid cutting between those two cameras. We also don't want either of the tight shots, so let's use this piano overhead shot again because that's a good hard angle away from where we're going. Okay, we're going to replace all of these keyboard tight shots here with this guitar ultra tight shot, and then we'll move this one to a wide shot. Maybe we'll go to, we just came from the GoPro. Actually, you know what? We're landing on the bass tight. We're coming from the, we'll see how that looks. That might look okay. Although they're all kind of off one, aren't they? Oops. No. No. We're off just a 16th note? We were just off a 16th note. Well, some of them are off a 16th note. Are all of them off? I can't tell. I can't tell. I think that's okay. Okay, so now let's go check out that other turnaround section. Were they all off a 16th note as well? Nope, they're okay. So here's where we have the T-bar deal, right? I was using it as a merge. I don't think that's what I wanted to go to. I forgot to have that load up in the program, so that's supposed to be no channel 1. Because we're going to be coming in off of that. Oh shit, let's actually queue up the bass shot so I know what I'm looking at here. Because now we need to get this T-bar figured out. So we got a keyboard solo. Which, let me turn that on so we can actually hear it. Working. Oh, right. So here's where things get even weirder. I need to nope, that one. Pull up my plug-in tank here. We need to load the proper patches. X-Hunter into Omnisphere and X-Hunter into Contact. Okay, now that we got keyboards loaded, that should work now. Oh, I gotta cut this all up too. Okay, I don't think we want to go to this main shot here. There was no need for that. This might be a cool time to do a truck in on the piano and use the T-bar. What do I got? Because I'm doing, yeah, but I'm doing that for the guitar solo, so maybe not. So we got the doubled up shot. God, whatever I tried to do for a guitar solo here was just painfully bad. We're gonna mute that and pretend like it didn't happen. I don't want anyone hearing that shit. We're walking away from that. Okay, scrolling back down here to my cameras. So I do think we'll want to use that shot. We'll want to use... Actually, you know what? Now that I got this in there, I don't think we need the T-bar. We're just going to ditch the T-bar thing for this particular song. I don't think we need it. I don't want to overdo it. And this guitar tight shot is going to be really cool for the solo. It can just stay there. It doesn't really need to pan, I don't think. It's already there. That's the kind of thing that ultimately I would like to have on like a parallaxer that zoomed in and zoomed out. That would look really cool if it had just like some parallax to it. That's all that shot really needs. But once again, more money. Some of those are off. So this one looked okay. Let's go to quarter notes. The rest of them are all early. That's why it looked weird. Oh, wait, they're not all early. Cut. 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 I think I do want another cut right there. It's maybe a little cliche. I'm just kind of cutting, but I think it works. Let's go to... we just did that one. We haven't seen the main shot in a minute. Let's do that one. That'll work. I think we're just staying there through the end. And then there's where my change happened. So we're way early in terms of the cut there. So this final cut needs to be more like here. So we'll get that fade. Hit that. Actually, you know what? I'm almost kind of tempted to do a fade to black in here, just because I think they look nice. So maybe have that happen like right here, and then we can bring that back over. Let's put in a fade to black that starts like right here. And then we'll come out of it like right there. How's that? No, that's way too early. We need to have that fade to black come back like right there. And that should still be during the OBS fade, so that should hide that transition nicely. Let's take a look at what this looks like on the output side of things. Fade. Okay. That should be fine. I think though I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this up because we can. And then that fade to black should be happening during that one, so we can go ahead and bring it in an eighth note. And then, cool. That should work just fine. The fade to black should be finished. Actually, you know what? We can tighten that up even a little bit more. That'll fade back in while the OBS blackout is happening. Cool. Actually, let's go to Reaper. Turn this overlay channel off. Boom. Last thing I want to do here, and then I'm probably going to be done. I'll probably keep working on this on my own, but I don't want to stream for forever and a day. It's getting too hot in here. Let's see here. What was I thinking? I'm going to do a safety as well. We're going to go ahead and load that up in the preview after we cut, just as a safety measure. I'm going to do that at the end of every song, I think, just to make sure that the main shot is in both. So if any shenanigans happen, any weird cuts or changes or anything, it should still pull the same thing. We should be good there. What's this other one I have a T-bar fade on? Zelda? Okay, so I need to go work on that. So that'll be my next move. Oh, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to pull up Reaper and we're going to cut stuff up here real quick. And then I'll be out of here. Let me get us some backing music while I do this. We'll go ahead and kind of trim this up a little bit because we don't need it here. I need to have Darth come in and record a bass track for this song because I'm still using my old one from long, long ago. Lock those up. I don't know that trimming this by that much is really making a huge difference, but there's no auxiliary guitar during this part, so let's go ahead and cut it down. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna camel case all the markers too. I want to kind of get everything as I go. I should go and put all these in the correct folders too, now that I think about it. Let's lock that. Okay, everything's decently cut up. Let's go move them into the correct folders. Live sessions, songs, and then we want to go into video game music, X Hunter stage. Let's make a folder, new, call this guitar. Double DI. Did it update the rest of these two? It did. Cool. I don't know why I didn't think it would. We want to do the same thing here. Rename file. We're going to move you into guitar. Aux guitar. MIDI file can stay. We do want to change this one. Rename file. We'll call this, make a folder for it. Bass. We'll call this recorded bass. I think that's the scheme I've been going with. Been trying to keep the same naming scheme going. Drums. Get them drums. Cymbals. This is my OCD kicking in. I do this. Organization is just like, it's in my blood. I can't help but do it. Snare. We'll put you in drums. It's just so much easier when everything kind of has its own little home and its own place where I know I can find it. Toms, no, don't overwrite. We need to put it in the drum folder. What are you? Aux percussion. That's the rise. I also forgot to trim these up. The keys probably go through this whole track. So we'll lock that. Rename file. Call this keys. Oh, oops. We want to do drums. We'll put it in drum. Actually, you know, I'm just going to make a percussion folder. I'll have a lot of extra percussion, so we'll do a percussion folder. aux percussion, and aux keys. Do I have anything else? I think that's everything. Is everything camel cased? No. This I technically don't think I need anymore. Am I using live mode for that? Let's find out. Oops, wrong one. That one. Am I using live mode for this? Or am I just routing it to the correct? I am using live mode. So let's change that. Can I like copy what's in here? Okay, I can test it. That's pretty cool. Copy part and paste part. Does that work? Beautiful. And then we'll do clear part, clear patch. Is that what I want? That was what I want. Okay, so now if I go into the multi, we should have that. We'll turn live mode off and save this multi as X-Hunter. Save. And now we should have, let me look at my, oh, this channel layout thing is confusing the hell out of me. So let's see here, we're not using the Casio, we're using the Oxygen for this solo, and it's sending into Omnisphere channel 1, perfect, which means we no longer need to have this controller for Omnisphere. This can go away. Makes me nervous to make it go away. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna mute it. Nah, don't be a wuss. Get rid of it. We don't need it. We're not doing any program changes. We should double check it though and make sure it still works. It works. Easy. It was too loud, but okay. One less piece of information. Try and keep this thing as clean as I possibly can, right? Okay, let's bring the tunes back. We'll do one last bit of organization here, and then we'll call it a day. Just sell the ATEM and get a multiple SDI capture card. I mean, from what I've been looking at, they do seem to have like 8-input SDI capture cards as well. But then you're looking for like, yeah, I didn't know they existed until I talked to Otherglow like maybe a month ago. I didn't even know it was a thing. Also, are you able to do, because most of those are PCI cards, are you even able to install PCI cards on your computer? I didn't know how that would work, unless they have some like breakout versions that are like 8 SDI or 4 SDI input USB boxes. I don't know that I've seen that or not. All the ones that I'm using are PCI cards, so I didn't know what was out there. It's crazy, like there's so much gear that I don't have use for now that I bought that, like, if I'd have known other gear existed, I would have bought that instead. It's kind of a bummer how that works, how like until you spend the time, like, it just so often. Yeah, I kind of thought you don't have PCI card slots, right? So that's not gonna work. Radio fade in. Intro ARPS. We have main theme 1. It's so hard to decide which is the correct way to go through to build everything. Such a pain in the ass. Round 1. Best option is probably get the ATEM Mini before the ATEM HD or multiple capture card. Yeah, I guess that would make sense for what you're doing. Can you do that? Can you bring multiple ATEMs in? So you're thinking like you would hit the ATEM Mini and do the super sources you want and then output that to the ATEM itself, man, it seems like a hassle. But at the same time, I can't think of another way to do that. You might be right. Main theme 2. I think it has more flexibility. From what, like, just kind of thinking through it, it sounds like you could have quite a bit of flexibility that way. Turn bridge. Also, I need to look at these. Are these like, yeah, they are. So let's go back. Actually, you know what? We'll do that all at once. For whatever reason, at some point in time, I made a change to things and everything kind of got bumped over like a millionth of a second. I don't know how that happened, but I may as well fix it. Intensity picks up. Doo-doo-doo. Final turnaround. Yeah, just let me know a day that's good to come out there, Deanie. Like I said, we'll mask up and intro ARPS final, and we'll work on stuff. I'm interested to get out there and work on stuff in the studio with you. It's been too long. Guitar solo. Final theme. Double kicks. We'll just abbreviate that. The outro. And then is this off by a little bit too? It is. Okay, so we'll use our next marker macro to fix all of these. This weekend, any day? Well, I mean, are you out there tomorrow? Because if you're out there tomorrow, I'll probably bounce out and help you out with some stuff. Because I mean, like, as much as, you know, we don't want to be gathering in groups or anything, as long as we both wear masks and take precautions to not get too close to each other, I think we'll be fine to come hang out in the studio. So if you're out there tomorrow, are you going to stream from like 12:30 to 2? Because if so, I could plan on being out there. Actually, I might pop out there and hang out while you stream, just kind of watch all the tech and chill. I could use a day away from this studio. 12:30 to 2. Well, you want me to come out and chill while you stream a little bit, and then we can... I mean, I can get out there earlier and do setup stuff with you before stream. Why don't we do that? What time you like get out to the studio to start setting up? Because if you get out there a little bit earlier, I'll plan on meeting you out there when you get out there. We'll do some setup shit, and then we'll play around afterwards and have a grand old time. Still don't know exactly why all this happened, but we fixed it. 10:30? Cool. I will plan on being there at 10:30. That sounds like a good plan to me. I'll chat you in the morning and make sure that, you know, that time still works and all that good stuff. But we'll plan for that. Okay, so this is all cleaned up now. Can I change the name of this to ClickSource? And then give it the, yeah. MMX2 X Hunter Stage. Cool. And then let's copy all of that. Apply. Tap tempo for X Hunter. Boom. Done. This one's all nice, neat, and clean. Well, except for except for this fuckery of automation that I still need to go through. Cause Jesus. There's just, look at all this. Whee! All the automation. Oh my good fuck. Oh, this makes me cry. Let's just hide all of that again. Good God. Okay, let's drag these channels back out so I can actually see what my channel strips are doing again. Cool. We're good. We will make a plan for that, Deanie. I will see you tomorrow. Just hit me up in the morning before you head to the studio. It takes me about half an hour to get out there, so I'll plan for that, and I will see you then. I'm going to get out of here. Deanie, you have a good night. Everyone else, thanks for coming and chilling. It's time for me to crack open the computer and see if I can get another PCI card to work. Peace.